Welcome back to Geocaching World. I'm Dave Dufour with Andy Hardhead Smith. We are here talking about swag. Is it, is it swag or is it schwag? What's the correct pronunciation? Is it a regional thing, or am I just making up my own pronunciation?
I think you're doing a fine pronunciation, and it doesn't matter which way they pronounce it. It's treasure when it comes to geocaching.
There you go. Okay, so it's good treasure. Speaking of treasure, one of our treasured viewers, Jolene, has hit 1,000 geocaches. Did that just today.
Milestone. Woohoo!
Be it known that on June 1st of the year 2011, Jolene hit 1,000. So that's great.
Milestones.
That's really perfect.
That's a great thing to do, and people should write in and tell us when they hit those.
There you go. That's right. We should find out about all that. So anyway, we're talking about swag and what to leave, what should be in a cache that you hide, and what you should have for trading purposes. And we've got a little video to look at just to kind of talks a little bit about how you do it.
Okay, now
what you're seeing right here is
backpack.
Right out of my cache.
A lot of times when I go on a trip, there's other items that I keep on there that are more for necessities when it comes to actual geocaching, food, water, different things like that.
Is
but in this particular case right now, since I'm not going on a planned trip and at least for the next week or two,
ammo cans,
this is some of the other things that I keep in
geocaches in of itself.
The backpack.
And also what you
heard me talk before about a
is what I refer to as just your standard swag bag.
This is what is a common swag bag and what it looks
one
like.
of the bigger
just a large
gallon-sized
Ziploc,
plastic bags,
just loaded.
That you find
everything
items
from
that
bungee cords,
you want to take with you at all
tools,
times. Where if you do want to trade swag with
watches,
a geocache that you
patches,
find,
anything that you want to trade
you don't
for
have
swag.
One of those, gee, this was really
That's
great,
what this
but I didn't
is.
have anything to trade. This is a way of having it with
is a prime example
now,
of a swag bag.
I gotta ask you,
put it in your little
can
pack,
opener,
take it with
and,
you,
some smaller
and when you
items,
want to trade swag,
a lot of these are really useful items, actually. Now, when you put that in there, now is that likely? Does the cache owner usually end up with those things as a trade, or do those sometimes just sort of get passed along to the next geocacher who does his own trade?
Well, a lot of times what will happen is when a new geocache is put out, a good practice, and again, this is debatable between people, and that's how it goes, but as far as I'm concerned, good practice is that you kind of give a starting point for a geocache. You put some swag in there to begin with, and the bigger the geocaching container, the more swag. Nobody wants to find a large geocache with nothing in it. So the idea is you put that swag in there, and then the next geocacher that comes replaces it with equal or better value, and that continues the cycle.
That's great. Okay, so what we've got is some examples of swag here, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of that, and then also we're going to look at where do people like to get swag, and what are the kinds of swag that people really appreciate. But let's take a look here. We've got some photos coming up here, so let's kind of run through our little photo album of swag.
There's a look.
This looks like bad swag to me.
Yeah, this is basically what'll happen is sometimes you're going to find situations where people put swag in that just is not what you want to have people find. Let's face it, when you go geocaching, the #1 audience for swag in most cases are children. To them, the swag that they find in a geocache is pure magic. You want to put quality items in there. Sometimes people just don't think, and they just put stupid stuff. I mean, there's no other way of putting it. You don't throw in a cigarette. You don't throw in something that's of mature content.
Right.
You don't put, there's actual rules and regulations of what you can and cannot put into a geocache. You don't want to put in sharp objects. You don't want to put in things that have explosives, bullets, things like that. And you go, why would somebody put a bullet in it? And that just gives you that answer right off the bat. Why would somebody put a bullet in there?
Yeah, right.
It's common sense things.
Right. Yeah, and save that for when you're together with your military buddies or something.
There you go.
Yeah. So okay, next photo here. I think what we've got here is this looks like some swag gone bad.
Yeah, and this does happen. I mean, we've used swag gone bad. Trademark Dave Dufour. what happens in a case like this, and this is another one of those prime examples, using those cheap transfer packages or boxes for a geocache. The swag or whatever is going to be inside it is going to get moisture. It's going to get wet. And what you do when you find this thing, a lot of times, is you clean out, you replace the container if you can. Mm-hmm. You clean out the container of all the goo, right, and then you put in some fresh swag. It doesn't have to be much, but if you've got a swag bag, throw some items in there for the next geocacher.
Right. Okay. So what's next up here? What have we got now? Okay.
There we go. Now that's my daughter Amanda. She is my right hand and goes by the name of Geoness. Mm-hmm. And whenever you see a geo snippets being filmed, she's my film crew.
Right.
Now, one of the things that she absolutely loved, and literally when we first started geocaching, said, "Dad, I need my own swag bag." Because there are items she wants to trade that I may not have an interest in.
Right.
So she wanted to make sure, and you need to use this for your own children when you take them out, or grandchildren when you go. Have a personal swag bag for them, because that way they learn the idea of trading for equal or better value. Mm-hmm. That's something that could be passed on.
Okay, good. All right. Let's look. What else do we have here?
This is some different examples of what you're going to find. Depending on the size of the geocache is going to dictate the size of the swag that goes in it. Mm-hmm. If you have some of the smaller ones, you're going to get the smaller items, the erasers, the chip clips, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so essentially you sort of gauge the size of the item with the proportional to the size of the geocache itself, in other words.
Yeah, and a lot of times that's it's good to have a good combination with you. Again, have a backpack with a couple of the large items if you know that you're going to be finding some of the bigger geocaches, mm-hmm. and then fill that other gallon bag with the smaller items that you know that you're going to hit more on a regular basis.
There you go. Okay, well, we're going to look more at swag and get some other examples of swag, and we're going to talk a little bit about our Geek of the Week competition when we come back here on Geocaching World. Got a question or a comment about geocaching? Send it to geocache@rvnn.tv or leave us a voicemail at 877-578-RVNN, extension 714. Tell us about a cache you especially enjoyed finding, and we may feature it in an upcoming episode. Follow RV Newsnet on Facebook and Twitter, and you can receive text messages to alert you when we're streaming live by texting RVNN to 72727. That way, you can join us live in the chat room, ask questions, and become part of the RV Newsnet family. Remember, any photos or other material submitted to us become the property of RV Newsnet and cannot be returned. For more TV like this from the world of RVs, head to rvnn.tv.